All right. I need to ask you something. I need to know how many brilliant business ideas have you had in the shower just this week? Seriously, count them because I'm awake. How many of those have you actually put into your business or have they made it to your social media? Yeah, that's what I thought. So here's what's fascinating. And I learned this the hard way after years of beating myself up about it. ADHD entrepreneurs are idea machines. We come up with more creative marketing concepts before our morning coffee than most people generate in a month. And we see connections that other people miss. We have all of this insight that could revolutionize entire industries. But then we don't post anything for 3 weeks because we can't decide between 17 different brand aesthetics. And we're pretty sure our judge is our audience. And it will keep us from pivoting business tips that deep dive about how, I don't know, penguin colonies relate to team management. So if you're listening to this while you're reorganizing your desk right now for the third time today, instead of working on that marketing campaign you planned last month, we definitely need to talk. Today, we're going to be solving the marketing dilemma that keeps adding up and it keeps every ADHD entrepreneur up at night. It is that internal battle between your brilliant, chaotic creativity and the marketing world's obsession with consistency. So grab your emotional support beverage because we're about to figure out how to market your business without losing your mind or what's left of it. So let me paint you a picture. It's Monday morning and you're fired up, right? You've got 17 brilliant content ideas, a color coded content calendar that would make Marie Kondo weep with joy, and enough motivation to fuel, I don't know, small rocket. But by Wednesday, you've posted nothing. Your content calendar is buried under 3 browser tabs about productivity hacks for entrepreneurs. You got a half finished course on Instagram Reels and a random business idea you definitely need to research right now. I get it. I know where you are. I have been where you are. I am still sometimes where you are. And I have to evaluate how I'm running my business. Because here's the thing, the marketing world keeps telling us that consistency is key, right? Post daily, be everywhere, have a unified brand voice. But nobody told our ADHD brains that memo. And so we're over here like, unified brand voice. I have 17 different personalities before noon. One day you're posting motivational quotes because you're feeling professional. The next day you're like, oh, I need to have neon gradient text. Suddenly your brand looks like, a rave threw up on LinkedIn. And don't get me started on scheduling content because I'm telling you right now, I talk about this all the time in my membership. But we make these beautiful content calendars and then completely ignore them because Wednesday's planned post about, 3 business tips feels boring when you just discovered this fascinating world of AI. And obviously, your audience needs to know about this right now. So you scrap everything you've done and you start over. And you're obsessed with starting over. And the worst part is we beat ourselves up about it. We see other entrepreneurs that are posting daily. Heck, some of them 3, 4, 5 times a day. I don't even know how they do it, to be honest. And they're maintaining these perfect aesthetic feeds. And we are just like, gosh, I'm failing. But nobody tells you maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe the solution isn't fighting your ADHD brain. Maybe it is working with it. And so I want you to have kind of a reframe today. Your ADHD is not the problem. So let's flip the script for a hot minute. What if I told you that your inconsistent, scattered idea machine is actually your marketing superpower? Think about it. I mean, while your neurotypical competitors are over here on Instagram and they're posting the same Monday motivation quote again, or the same reel they've posted 20 times in the last month because heck, it gets more views than the others, you're over here having a breakdown about your industry because you connected 3 completely random dots that no one else could see. And your hyperfocus isn't a bug, it's a feature. You become the person who knows everything about one weird corner of your industry. And that's creativity. That is pricing genius, and that randomness makes you feel unprofessional. That's what makes people stop scrolling. That's what makes them remember you. So I had a one-on-one client previously who felt terrible about her Instagram feed because she was a VA and that was her entire job, right? Is to be able to post content for other people. And she's like, God, it just looks like Skittles over here. Just a rainbow threw up. And there is some truth. I don't know if you've ever heard this. I have always heard it, and I am living proof of it, to be honest. But we are our own worst customer, right? When we're putting so much energy into serving our customers, a lot of times we don't give the attention to our own marketing. So I did have to kind of bring her back down to earth and be like, yo, it's okay. Like, your customers are happy. All right. But it turns out that her audience loved the variety. So we did some like just really simple polls on her Instagram stories. And they said that her content was the most interesting thing because they never knew what to expect. And that's not usually what you want to hear, but it turned out that her specific audience loved that because they never knew what she was going to say next or what random VA tip or productivity tip she was going to give them. And so here is your first mindset shift I want you to kind of sit with today. Stop trying to be the consistent content machine just because you know that's what you're supposed to do. Content should be valuable, and that is the ultimate goal. Now, I can promise you this because I do recommend that you stay consistent with content. And consistency looks completely different for us. We talk about this all the time. But when you have clarity in your business and your direction and who you're serving and how you're serving them, you would be shocked how easy content will become for you to want to be a valuable resource, even with the chaotic brain. But right now, that's hard for you because you're beating yourself up constantly. So I want to give you a couple quick strategies today. Number one, getting tactical, okay? First strategy, batching content creation. I talk about this all the time. My content sprint system is like the number one method to do this, but I want you to forget what productivity geniuses tell you about batching content every Sunday from 2 to 4. That's not how our brains work. We can't schedule hyperfocus like a dentist appointment. So instead, I want you to create hyperfocus emergency kits. So when you feel that magical moment coming on, when you suddenly understand everything about life and business and you're like, you drop everything and create content. I keep a running parking lot, digital parking lot, okay, where I throw up every random business idea ever, funny observations, anything I realize. When that hyper focus hits, I just start batching. And again, my content sprint system, it's only $37. So I'm going to drop the link in the show notes for you. But I show you how to create a month's worth of content in 2 hours by using that hyper focus. And pro tip here, I love to use voice memos. My phone has probably more voice memos than photos because when I am in this full hyper focus mode, I talk so fast and I just capture everything. And then I use AI or I go back and I go through it to decipher what exactly I said and how do I turn that into content. But the trick is having systems to capture the chaos. Right now, it's just kind of floating in your head. It's written on 18 different notebooks. Use whatever tool actually works for you. Notes app, voice memos, random napkins, whatever. The best system is the one that you'll actually use. Strategy number 2, the consistency hack. So now about the consistency thing, the secret isn't posting exactly at 9 a.m. every Tuesday. The secret is being consistently you. Consistently posting means absolutely nothing if your content sounds like it was written by all 8 of your personalities. Your audience doesn't need you to post daily, okay? I do recommend it because you learn so much by showing up and you ultimately get better at content when you do more of it. But they need to know that when you do post, it's going to be worth their time. They need to trust you, okay? And so instead of I post at 9 a.m. every day, I want you to think when I post, I know it's going to be a deep dive into something fascinating. Or instead of my brand colors are always blue and white, my content always makes me think differently about my business, right? So your audience would rather get 2 brilliant posts a month than 30 mediocre ones. Trust me on this. But again, I'm telling you right now, if you're struggling to create content, it is lack of direction, it is lack of clarity. And that is my absolute favorite thing to give people because when you have direction, you can run, you can go for it, you can give it 110%. But right now, lacking direction, not sure of what you're doing in your business, not feeling confident, you don't want to create content. And so subconsciously, you are making it hard. All right. And the last strategy here, embracing the pivot. All right. Embracing the pivot. So look, don't hide it, own it. All right, own it. I went down a rabbit hole about God knows what yesterday, and it took me like 2 hours to get out of it. But it taught me so much about scaling my business because it was like, you know what? This is what's holding me back. Your ability to connect random dots is fascinating. Your tendency to find business lessons in weird places is engaging. And your random obsessions often lead to brilliant ideas that purely are business focused competitors miss. I know an ADHD entrepreneur who pivoted from talking about productivity to talking about productivity for people with chronic illness because she got sick. She hyper focused on research and realized there was a massive gap in that market. That inconsistency became her most successful business pivot. So stop apologizing for your brain. It's time to start leveraging it. As we wrap up this episode, you know, I want to give you some action steps here. So, first, I want you to create your hyper focus emergency kit. Set up your simple capture system now. Brain doc, voice memo app, whatever works. If you are a voice memo person like me, you gotta try Voice Notes AI. I have done reels on this. That app changed my entire life. It is voice memos on steroids and it summarizes, and it's not just voice memos. Okay, I can put any link to it to any video, a YouTube video, a podcast episode, doesn't matter. And it gives me the top takeaways. It summarizes it for me. And it's amazing because that is often my rabbit holes is me wanting to watch videos or content, take in new content. Game changer. So definitely check out the show notes for that. Action step number 2, define your consistency around value, not schedule. So when I think about this, when I post, my audience knows they'll get XYZ. Make that your consistent promise. I want you to batch content during your natural energy cycles, not an arbitrary calendar date. Pay attention to when your brain wants to create and really ride that wave. And the last thing I want you to do, I want you to stop apologizing for your pivots. Okay? I want you to reframe them as learning. So pay attention to when you're trying to make things perfect. Your random post that you're embarrassed might be exactly what someone needed to hear today. I want you to think about it like this. I've been obsessing over XYZ, and here's what it taught me about my business. And a last bonus tip here, find one accountability buddy who also has ADHD or lack of focus and check in with them daily or every other day or weekly. Not to shame each other for inconsistency, but to celebrate. That is why memberships are so important. That's why my Focus in free membership, that's part of it, is not just connecting with me and learning from me, but connecting with others. Okay, so look, marketing with ADHD isn't about fighting your brain. It's about designing systems that work with your beautiful, chaotic, brilliant mind. And your inconsistency isn't a flaw. Your random tangents aren't unprofessional. Your hyperfocus sessions aren't wasteful. They're all part of what makes your marketing memorable in a world of beige business content. So stop trying to be the marketer you think you should be and start being the marketer only you can be. So that's it for today's episode. If this resonated with you, share it with another entrepreneur who needs to hear it. Take a screenshot, throw it in your stories, and tag me at socially.awesome. Your ADHD brain is a feature, okay? It's not a bug. And until next time, make it simple, make it social, make it awesome.